The thing in the dark. They called her Valiant Dawn, though the crew had other names: the Ghost Barge, Hell's Cradle, or simply the Carrier. She floated silent at the edge of the Tarsus expanse, far from any trade lane, deeper still than most dared to explore. She didn't broadcast. She didn't ping. She didn't hum with life like a typical starship. She just waited. Captain Reece Halvern stood on the forward observation deck, arms crossed, lips set in a thin line. At 49, with gray threading his temples and a jagged scar trailing down from his left cheekbone, he looked exactly like what he was, a veteran of the post-Unity skirmishes, a man who'd buried more under his command than most generals ever commanded. Behind him, the stars hung like cold teeth. "Report," he said without turning. Commander Alina Voss stepped up, tablet in hand. "No response from the Krothy scout vessel. They pinged the Dawn twice, then went dark. Sensors show no wreckage, no heat trails. Just gone. They were curious," Halvern muttered. "Curiosity killed more than cats." Voss nodded grimly. "Third alien contact in 2 weeks." Halvern said nothing. He just watched the dead void outside. The Valiant Dawn had that effect. People came to look, to scan, to study. And then they didn't leave. A quiet chime broke the silence. Lieutenant Ganesh's voice filtered through the deck's intercom. "Captain, we have an approach vector. Unidentified vessel, configuration unknown. No transponder. Minimal emissions. Course? Intercept." Halvern turned. "All hands, condition 1. Bring the rail cannons to standby. No power up until I say." "Yes, sir." Alina followed him down the corridor, as red lights blinked to life along the bulkheads. "Another scavenger? Or someone braver?" "No scavenger sends a ship that size without backup. That's a scout, or a message." She glanced at the data on her tablet. "If it's a message, it's got teeth. Hull density is triple standard for its class. No visible weapons, but that profile means nothing." Halvern cut in. "We've hidden nukes inside cargo shuttles. Don't assume." They entered the CIC, Combat Information Center, just as the vessel came into visual range. It looked wrong. Not in design, but in intention. Smooth edges, no insignia, and most unsettling, it didn't decelerate. Halvern stared at the display. "Let it close. No comms unless they hail first." Alina hesitated. "What if they board? Then we give them a tour." The crew worked silently. Every officer on the Dawn knew this wasn't a normal assignment. The Supercarrier had been decommissioned for decades, brought back under black-budget circumstances that no one talked about. It didn't run like a ship anymore, it ran like an entity. Half-organic systems. Neural dampers. Decks they didn't even open anymore. The intruder's ship slowed at 20 clicks. A low whine filled the CIC, not mechanical, not technical. Something else. Elias, the comms officer, pressed his hands to his temples. I think they're speaking." Alina frowned. "There's no transmission. It's not over comms. It's in my head." Everyone froze. Then the voice echoed. Not sound, but certainty. Not words, but meaning. "You built this. You hid it. We know now." Halvern's voice cut through the air like steel. "Full alert. Bring neural barriers online. Do it manually if you have to." The lights dimmed. The hum beneath the deck intensified. Somewhere deep inside the Valiant Dawn, things moved. Old systems. Old weapons. Alina looked at him, voice low. "They know what this ship is." He nodded. "And they shouldn't. Do we fight?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he activated the security protocols on his console. The hull plating shifted. Stealth panels dropped. Weapons bays opened. The Valiant Dawn revealed herself. Twin rail batteries as long as city blocks, point defense cannons with atomic capacitors, fighter bays loaded with smart drones bred, not built. The alien vessel stopped. "Why would you awaken this?" Halvern finally answered, aloud and unflinching. "Because you poked it. A flash, no warning. The alien ship launched a single bolt of light. It wasn't energy. It wasn't projectile. It folded space, like it had torn a hole through time itself. The bolt hit. And nothing happened. The Dawn shielding flared, then absorbed, then inverted. The CIC lights flickered. Elias screamed. The bulkheads groaned. And then came the sound. Real this time. A deep, metallic growl. Halvern smiled grimly. She's awake. From the lowest deck, something ancient stirred. The ship's AI, dormant for 30 years, came online. But this wasn't code. This was instinct. This was legacy. The Dawn had been built not just to house war, but to be war. She remembers, Halvern muttered. The alien ship turned to flee. Too late. Fire, he ordered. Blue-white rails lanced through the dark. A ripple followed, anti-light, the opposite of creation. The alien vessel ceased. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Ceased. Gone. No wreckage. No flame. Silence returned. Alina whispered, "What did we just use?" Halvern didn't look away from the screen. "Something we built when we thought we wouldn't survive. A weapon for the last war. And maybe the next." The bridge remained still. Finally, Elias whispered, "Captain, what is the Valiant Dawn?" Halvern's voice was low. "She's what waits when hope fails." And outside, in the deep black, the stars watched without blinking. The Dawn remembers. The Valiant Dawn drifted silently through the Tarsus expanse. No signals. No warnings. Just silence, and the memory of violence etched into her hull. The weapon systems retracted. The glow from the spinal rails faded. The stars outside blinked as if they, too, were wary of what they had just seen. Captain Reece Halvern sat alone in the war room. No lights. Just the soft blue cast of a floating tactical interface hovering over the table. Across the translucent screen, red markers blinked, an expanding grid of unknown vessels slowly repositioning beyond the system's edge. "They saw," he whispered. The Dawn's mainframe, newly awakened, responded. The voice was calm. Female. Cold. Confirmed. Multiple observers. 3 scout vessels. 2 refracting hulls. 1 cloaked. Tracking signatures logged. "Cloaked?" Halvern asked. "That tech's Concord level." "Not Concord. Hybrid pattern. Scans show biosynthetic weave. Origin unknown." The door slid open behind him. Commander Voss stepped in, her face tense. "We've just received an automated data burst. Encrypted. High-tier signal. Bouncing through 20 dead relays before hitting us." Halvern stood. "Source? No origin. But it carries a Terran command code." He walked toward the terminal and plugged in his authorization. The display shifted, displaying a grainy video. A man appeared, white uniform, golden shoulder crests, his eyes cold and mechanical. Admiral Lorik Wren, Terran Intelligence. Dead 5 years. And yet, if you're seeing this, the Valiant Dawn has fired. That means something worse than extinction is approaching. Halvern and Voss stood silent. The Dawn wasn't built to protect Earth. She was built to warn it. The message flickered, corrupted in parts, but the core remained. If they've found her, they've found others. The vaults. The hell sleep chambers. The lighthouses. The transmission cut. Alina exhaled. "Hell sleep, that's a myth. They said those were prototypes." "No," Halvern muttered. "They were plans for what we'd build if Earth fell." He tapped the interface. "Dawn, confirm. Are there other assets like you active?" "No. All sibling vessels offline or lost. You are alone." She paused. "For now." Halvern turned to Voss. "Prep the bridge. Activate the beacon. Full power. No stealth. Captain, you want to broadcast? That'll bring every scavenger, mercenary, and enemy fleet in 100 sectors." He nodded. "Exactly." She hesitated. "Bait?" "No. He stepped past her. A warning! Within hours, the Dawn was no longer hidden. Massive floodlights illuminated her hull, once sleek, now pockmarked with scars, armored with radiation-blackened plating and kinetic absorbers thicker than any battleship alive. Her spine glowed faintly with residual power, the cannons humming like they remembered what they'd done. And across the galaxy, signals woke. Some curious. Some afraid. And some very interested. They came fast. The first ship, a small Harkoni long-range scout, hailed on an open channel. Halvern allowed the feed. The alien's face filled the screen, a bird-like creature with dark red feathers and narrow, gleaming eyes. "We observed your discharge, human vessel," it said. "We do not understand. What kind of ship are you?" Halvern leaned into the feed. "One you don't want to provoke again." The alien paused. "We saw what you did. To the other ship. It didn't just die. It disintegrated. That technology is buried for a reason." The feed cut before questions could follow. Minutes later, another call. Then another. Then silence again. And then, unexpected, an encrypted pulse. Concord seal. Halvern's breath caught. He activated it. A woman's face appeared. Commander Tasha Near. Once Halvern's counterpart. Now High Envoy of the Galactic Concord's Outer Rim Division. "Reece," she said. "They told me you were dead. I should have been." She looked off-screen. "We saw the footage. You've lit up every sensor array within 10 sectors. I had to respond." She didn't argue. "It wasn't just a probe, was it?" "No. It was a test. They wanted to see if she'd fire. And now they know she will." Halvern's eyes hardened. "They'll come." "Yes," she said. "And not just for the Dawn. For Earth. A beat. We're rerouting 2 fleets to your position. Covert. Expect contact within 3 days." "But Reece, this wasn't supposed to happen. The Dawn was meant to stay asleep. What else is waking up?" He didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Below decks, systems long dormant whispered back to life. Autoforges rekindled. Drones ran tests on the launch bays. Bioreactors hummed. On Deck 17, an entire weapons wing, offline since the Unity Accords, began self-diagnosing. And in the deepest chamber, behind doors lined with psychic dampening aloes, a figure stirred in a cryochamber. Human. Male. Warborn. His vitals blinked to life for the first time in 70 years. Sleeper protocol engaged. Back on the bridge, Elias, the comms officer, turned toward Halvern. "Sir, strange traffic coming through Sector 9. One ship. Big. Bigger than anything I've ever seen. ID? No transponder. But it's human." Voss leaned over. "Impossible. There are no active Terran supercapital ships besides." Halvern didn't let her finish. "Visual," he ordered. The screen lit up. And there it was. Massive. Obsidian-hulled. No lights. No pings. Another supercarrier. Alive. And coming straight toward them. Rise of the Forgotten. The other supercarrier loomed on the horizon like a waking god. It cut through space with slow, deliberate momentum, ignoring the asteroids it sheared through like paper. The Valiant Dawn's bridge crew fell silent. There was no signature. No call sign. Just presence. Reece Halvern leaned forward. "Dawn, identify." The AI's voice returned after a delay. Designation, UNV Obsidian Crown. Terran origin. Status, previously listed as destroyed during the Jupiter collapse, 2241. "That's impossible," Commander Voss said, stepping closer. "That ship was a myth. A prototype that never launched." Halvern didn't blink. "Well, it's moving now." The view screen adjusted as the Crown approached. There were no lights along the hull, no windows, no running beacons. It was a ghost. The kind of vessel built for war at the end of time, not diplomacy. It dwarfed the Valiant Dawn by nearly 20%. Still no hails? Halvern asked. Nothing, Elias replied. It's not even trying to speak. The crown stopped 20 clicks out. Then the signal hit them, raw, unfiltered, and not through normal channels. The ship spoke directly into their minds. We were not lost. We were buried. Alina staggered against the console. That's not AI. That's biological. No, Halvern muttered. That's a pilot. The Dawn's AI interjected. Correction. Multiple biological presences detected within the obsidian crown. Signatures matched Project Prometheus. Voss went pale. Prometheus. That was sealed. The sleepers. They were meant to be backup. In case Earth fell, Halvern said. Supercarriers with humans genetically modified for post-extinction warfare. Enhanced minds. No natural aging. Trained in simulated combat from birth. Elias's voice cracked. That's what's flying that thing. The psychic pressure grew. You are not ready. You woke too early. You brought the enemy's eye upon us. We must move now. Halvern stood tall. This is Captain Reece Halvern of the Valiant Dawn. Identify yourself. A pause. Then a visual feed appeared, brief, flickering. Inside a dim command chamber, a man stood, impossibly still. His body was armored in dark polycarb plating, neural ports along the spine pulsing with a dim amber glow. His eyes, they didn't blink. They stared with the weight of someone who remembered wars no one else survived. Designation: Commander Ilya Varen. Pilot of the Obsidian Crown. Human, Gen 9. Combat rating: classified. Halvern's breath hitched. Ilya Varen died in 2240. Varen's voice came through again, clearer, colder. I never died. I waited. Earth locked us away. We were the contingency. And now, the stars burn again. Suddenly, new signals exploded across the system. Dozens. No, hundreds. Alien signatures poured through nearby jump nodes. Ships of unknown configurations. Many resembled the one the Dawn had destroyed. Twisted hulls. Organic grafts. No heat emissions. Swarms. They were watching, Voss said softly. That first ship, it was a scout. A trigger. And we fired. Halvern finished. And now we've invited the whole damn hive. The Dawn's lights shifted to crimson. Combat protocols engaged. Varen spoke again. We cannot win this from the surface. The swarm doesn't attack planets. It infects stars. We intercept now, or the galactic core dies in a generation. Halvern turned to Voss. Get me drone wings up. Prime the spinal rails. I want anti-swarm packages online in 5. She blinked. We're going with him? He's right, Halvern said. We don't get another mistake. The bridge rumbled as the Dawn's systems activated in full combat mode. Below deck, hibernation pods opened, drones awakened, neural-controlled weapons rolled from walls like sleeping titans stirred by thunder. The Valiant Dawn prepared for war, not defense, but pursuit. The Obsidian Crown moved first. It launched without propulsion signatures. Just moved, like space bent to its will. Dozens of auxiliary craft unfolded from its underbelly, not deployed but grown, each carrying modified humans, post-sleep warriors with eyes like silver and reflexes born from virtual war. Varen's voice returned. You'll see soon. This isn't just about Earth. The swarm's already seeded a third of the galactic rim. You've only seen scouts. On the Dawn's tactical map, the approaching fleet bloomed like ink in water, ever-expanding, tendrils of ships designed for assimilation, not annihilation. The swarm fed on data, energy, identity. It didn't destroy you. It rewrote you. Launch! Halvern ordered. And the Dawn did. Drones screamed from their bays. Cannons spun up. Counter-gravity tethers locked to coordinate with the Crown's unorthodox movement. The two supercarriers, once ghosts of a forgotten war, now formed the blade tip of a new one. In the first minute, 6 enemy ships vanished under kinetic strikes. In the second, the swarm adapted, changing movement patterns, breaking formation. By the fourth, the Dawn had lost 2 wings. Focus fire on their core ships, Halvern barked. Ignore the mimics, they're buying time. Voss pointed at the hollow. That's a breeder node, right flank. If we hit it now, we collapse their front line. Do it! The Crown answered first. Its spinal weapon, something not of standard Terran design, fired a pulse that didn't travel. It appeared, at the node, compressing matter into a black bead before detonating in white silence. The entire right flank collapsed. And for a moment, there was stillness. Then Varen spoke one final time. This is only the beginning. Earth was never the center. We were the start. Now we become the firewall. Later, in the quiet aftermath, with only half their drones recovered and the stars still flickering from battle, Halvern stood on the bridge. Voss approached. We stopped them. For now. He nodded. But the Crown, he's right. We're not prepared for what's coming. She hesitated. What now? Halvern stared into the dark. Now we wake the others. Others? He smiled, tired but determined. The Concord buried more than ships. They buried ideas. People. Legacies. It's time we remind the galaxy what humanity does when the edge crumbles. She whispered. We build something terrifying. Halvern nodded. No, he said, eyes hard. We become it.